Welcome back into the Sports Source. This segment brought to you by Madisonville Marine. Their selection is the biggest in East Tennessee. You can see more makes and models of boats, from deck boats to pontoons to fishing boats, at Madisonville Marine than you can anywhere else. Save time. They're basically like a permanent boat show. It's located on Highway 411 North in Madisonville. Just a never-ending line of boats for you to walk by and check out. Madisonville Marine. All right, back with Ryan Callahan and Mike Strange, and I know somebody's going to email me and say, I watch sports to get away from politics. Well, I can't really control the fact that the sports is kind of politics right now. So that's, if you view this as politics, that's your view. There's nothing I can do about it. In terms of the Pruitt thing, I'm willing to give him a little bit more belief in that. And I agree with David. I think some guys are just putting this out there because if you don't put out a statement, then people say, hey, this guy didn't put out a statement. I think some of that goes on. I'm a little impressed. I'm more than a little impressed that Pruitt has done as much as he has, or is saying he's doing as much as he has, in just a couple of quick weeks. What are your thoughts? There are people out there who say, no, he's doing this just because he has to. Where are you on this? You agree with that, or do you agree that he probably means this?
I mean,
or wait and see.
I mean, like, it's probably fair to just say wait and see, but I'm more likely to give him the benefit of the doubt on this. I think a lot of this goes back to, and it surprised me a little bit that he maybe, like you said, took it as far as he did by going to the rally and all of that. But I think when you look at his history, he's got a reputation as a player's coach. And I think a lot of this, to me, just comes from him listening, like we talked about earlier, having a meeting with his players, hearing how much this hurts them, that they deal with this on a daily basis. I think he just naturally sort of took an interest in it because it matters to them and said, you know what, you guys want to do something about it? I'm all in. Let's do it. So I think it comes from that. And, you know, we've heard players at his previous stops talk about how much how highly they thought of him. I think a lot of it goes back to that, just him being willing to talk to them at any time of day about any issue and saying, you know what, this matters to you guys, so I'm going to take up an interest in it.
You know, the question is this because of recruiting? I think in the big picture, everything in college football is a little bit about recruiting, facilities, anything. So, yeah, but I'm not going to be cynical about this. I've been so pleasantly surprised by Jeromy Pruitt throughout this whole thing. He's gone above and beyond what I thought. And so I am not going to be cynical about that. Good for him.
I agree. And I have kind of a bottom line view on it, too, because I mean, to me, because of his leadership role in this state, you know, there are certainly other celebrities in this state, but like David said, Tennessee football coach is way up there on the list. The fact that he's done this and put himself out there publicly matters enough to the people that are looking at this and that want some importance placed on this, that I think, regardless of the reasons for doing it, it's such a good thing. I don't even really question it.
And again, depending on where you are, this would be a riskier move in some areas than others, and this is a place where he's going to get some blowback from some people, I'm sure. The interesting thing that popped up this week was just the irony, is we're watching Jeromy Pruitt, and the team is announcing a culture committee and all these other, we're going to do the jerseys and get the proceeds. On the other middle of the country, you have a guy that Tennessee tried to hire twice, Mike Gundy, who's facing allegations that he used the N-word. He got a couple of players called him out for wearing a T-shirt of a news organization. I don't think anybody should be fired for wearing a T-shirt of a news organization, but he has a right to wear it. His players also have a right to say, yeah, I'm transferring, or I'm not going to sign with you. It is a pretty big gulf between what Jeromy Pruitt has done here and what we might have been dealing with had Mike Gundy been hired here. The irony of that wasn't lost on me this week.
And that's why I give Jeromy Pruitt a lot of credit for this, because he's not only done this, but he's sort of taken the lead on it nationally. He's been one of the coaches that we've seen respond to this most aggressively. And clearly, even if he was, let's take the cynical view for a minute and say, okay, maybe he's just doing it for recruiting. Even if he was, clearly some good coaches, some high-profile coaches have not gotten that memo, and he has. So to his credit, he's handled this really well.
There was always a cynical view, and this is history speaking. Bear Bryant, when Alabama was all white, scheduled a game with USC, and USC was integrated, and USC beat the devil out of them. And the next year, Alabama had black players. And there are people who say, well, he just did that so he could get black athletes and win ball games. Others say, no, he wanted Alabama to finally get up with the times and be right. It helped on both fronts. From a football perspective, it did help him. At the same time, that was a step that needed to be made. And regardless of, maybe it wasn't 100% altruistic, but the step did get made because he went and did that. So anyway, we'll get off that, and when we come back, we're going to talk recruiting. A deep dive into Tennessee recruiting with Ryan Callahan. Next, we'll talk blue chip ratios. We'll talk quarterbacks, commitments, flipping, you name it. Come on back on the Sports Source.